Porn director.
All right, Nick. Thumbs up if you're ready to go. All right, here. Can you tilt your visor back a little bit? Unless you don't want to.
You always do it, Ray.
No, I don't want to, Ray.
All right. Cool. One.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking the time. We're going to start with Les Beau and then Chris Franklin.
Hello, Nick.
Hey, Les.
I was really struck yesterday by, the start wasn't great. The first couple series, I think Jalen was 1 for 5 yards. And then things really clicked into gear. What was different with him? What sort of adjustments did you make? Did you have to talk to him at all? It looked like they were really kind of pushing him out of his comfort zone a little on those first couple series, and then they weren't.
That's a good defense. I got a lot of respect for that defense, especially there in the interior of the line with Payne and with Allen and Sweat. And so, they did a good job of, stopping us early. And then I think what really got us going, was the deep ball to DeVonta, right? Then they were kind of squatting on some things, and we went deep, and that got us going. And then after that, we got 3 on that drive, and then after that, the defense got a huge turnover there with Brandon Graham strip and Javon recovery, and then really good execution on that screen pass. And I think sometimes it just takes, to see the ball go through the hoop, right? You get. You're not going the way you want it to go right away, but then you get an easy touch there for Dallas and the offensive line. Jason Kelsey and Isaac do an unbelievable job on that screen to get them in the end zone, and I think it just started going from there. So first of all, credit to their defense. Secondly, credit to our defense to get that big turnover and Devonte and Jalen making a huge play, and then getting that touch for the touchdown was big.
Thank you.
We'll go Chris Franklin and then Zach Berman.
Hey, afternoon, Nick. The offensive side having some success against the zone coverages this year. Why is that the case, and why do you think the receivers are having success against that coverage?
Well, I think we just have really good receivers. I think that's one big thing is that Jalen's playing at a high level. Our receivers are outstanding players with Devonte and AJ and Quez's speed out there, and Dallas being a mismatch in there, and you can't devote all your attention in zone to one guy. They got to play their zones, and Jalen's doing a good job of finding the guys. We talk a lot about route discipline, and what that means is when a zone coverage comes, when it's man, you got to beat the man. It's me versus you. I got to win this play. When it's zone, it's about the quarterback making the right decision with the football on time, and it's about the receivers and the tight ends and the running backs being where they're supposed to be within that zone. So if you're supposed to be on the inside edge of the numbers, you got to be on the inside edge of the numbers. And then obviously everything starts with the protection, and we're getting great protection obviously from our offensive line. Can't say enough about the offensive line of how good of an offensive line we have. And you win games up front. I don't care what level it is. My son's team, he's 7 and he's playing tackle football this year, and they won this weekend is because they got good O-line, D-line play.
We'll go Zach Berman and then Dave Zangaro.
Hey, good afternoon, Nick. 2 personnel questions. Devonte Smith, what prompted you to put him back there on the punt return? And then also what made this the week that Calcaterra was ready to play?
Grant has just been continually getting better. He missed some time, as we all know, during training camp, and it took him a little bit of time to get up to speed, right, with all the time that he missed. And we've always had a lot of faith in him in the passing game. We wanted to make sure we caught him up in the run game, and I think he did a nice job there. And I've obviously had that big 40-yard gain to start off the second half. As far as Devonte goes, we've been talking about that. How many different times can we get the football in Devonte's hands? He's really short-handed back there. He was really he was really good at returning punts at Alabama the times that he did do it, and we have faith in him based off of our practice reps that he can go back there and do it. We wanted a little spark. We threw him back there, and I think Britton did a good job too. I know he put the one on the ground, but I think he did a good job too. And so it wasn't a slight by any means on Britton. We just wanted to get the ball in Devonte's hands when they were backed up, and he did a nice job getting some yardage off of that. And again, how do we get our guys that can make plays with the ball in their hands? And we thought that was the opportunity to do that with Devonte.
As a quick follow-up, could that grow into a bigger role for Devonte, or is it a spot thing here and there?
We'll see. We'll see how that goes, and whether what that turns into. As of right now, is a spot thing, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see how that goes, and we'll continue to see how the season goes, and we'll see what happens there.
Dave, and then Jeff McLean.
I said who knows, like 8 times.
Hey Nick, we've seen such a big jump in Jalen's play through these first 3 weeks. What's the biggest reason for it, and is there anything he's done so far that surprised you?
I don't think we've seen Jalen's ceiling. I know we haven't seen Jalen's ceiling. He just continues to get better. So I think it's just the progression that Jalen Hurts makes as a player. And why is that, right? And you guys know what I'm going to say, right? He's tough. He loves football. And those are major things that are going to help a guy reach their ceiling. And so I just think you've seen tremendous progression from him because he works at it and he loves it, and he doesn't make the same mistake twice. And so he's doing a great job right now. We got to continue that, and we're working like crazy to continue to help him, put him in good positions to make plays. And Jalen's seeing the field really well right now, where he can, if we don't put him in a position to make a play, he can get us to the right play. And he's got that, and he's done some nice things there as far as his checks too.
Jeff, and then Tim McManus.
Nick, what are your teaching points for throwing the jump ball and for catching it?
Yeah. Get good players that can go execute it. The Devonte, we do the one thing we do as a staff is we try to put him in positions with catching the football that you don't get on a typical basis. So, for instance, you don't get a lot of low balls right out at practice. So we simulate that with our drill work, where we're going to throw them 10 low balls in a row. You don't get a lot of behind balls at times at practice, so you try to simulate that. You don't get a lot of traffic catches at practice, so we try to simulate that different ways, whether we put a towel around their arm and we yank at it when he catches it, whether we also have a thing where we slap down on his hands when he catches it. And I mean, there's a variety of different things. You don't get a ton of sideline catches out there. So you simulate that in what we call our catch circuit. And so we're trying like crazy to put them in position. So it's not the first time they make that catch is on Sunday. Because if you think you're going to go out and make a catch on Sunday that you haven't practiced, that might be a little unrealistic. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, we could have done those drills with them till we were blue in the face or not done them all. But Devontae's probably going to make that play because Devontae's a heck of a football player, and Jalen put the ball where it needed to be. And Devonte went up and got it, and that was super impressive and an outstanding play. I think one thing you see about Devonte is that, he's going to catch the ball, right? He's really outstanding and of just catching the football in different body positions, right? Whether it's the over the shoulder catch that he made that kind of got us started, or the post that he caught in the middle of the field at the end of the first half in traffic, or it was the jump ball type play that he made to score the touchdown. He just does a phenomenal job of making those different types of catches because of the hands that he had. And he's probably and Devontae's played catch a ton throughout his life, where he's made all these catches millions of times.
Tim, and then Beau Wolf.
Hey Nick, I saw that you you showed the team a video of Kobe leading into the Olympic Games, saying that he was going to, put a shoulder into the chest of Paul Gasol in that first one. I'm guessing that's not coincidental that you rolled that out the game that they faced off against Wentz.
Well, it's interesting. Well, what the message of the week last week, I think you guys asked me this last week, was to compete. Compete. We actually started last week's video of Slay talking about Justin Jefferson in the top 100, where he's like, I'm watching your film, I'm ready to compete, right? And then the whole message was like, okay, how do we compete our butts off this week? And I had a very specific story I wanted to tell on Saturday night, and I did tell that story. But on the bus ride up to Washington, I'm watching college football, and I'm kind of sorting through my phone, and that video pops up, and I'm like, man, this is like the perfect video for tonight to add to it. It was a 2-minute clip, but it was a perfect video to add to the story that I was telling there, and it did fit pretty well, right? Of like, Paul Gasol's my brother, Paul Gasol's my teammate, Paul Gasol, I love him, but I'm running through that guy's chest, right? And it was a cool video, and I think that it fit really well this weekend to say that we're the ultimate competitors. And you don't just get a guy to be an ultimate competitor. The prerequisite of getting on this football team was to be an ultimate competitor, and so those guys have it in them, and I was just reminding them of it. And then someone made it clear to me that the score ended up 24-8, which I thought was pretty cool, even though we wanted to score a lot more points than that, and we wanted them to score nothing. But we'll take that.
Beau and then John McMullen.
Hey, Nick, two specific game questions for you. The first one, you said yesterday that at the end of the first half, you weren't going to settle for 3. You wanted to get 7. Was that because you were on the 1-yard line, or was that your idea going into that drive? And then also, why did you go for it on 4th down at the end of the game to close it out?
As far as that's going to play a little different each week, Beau, as far as the end of the half. In that particular case, we decided that, forget where the ball is and everything like that. In that particular case, we were going for it. We wanted to go for it right there, and our players executed really well. As far as the end of the game, just wanted to end with our ball in our hands. We had 3 runs there, got us to 4th and 3, and I felt really confident in the play that Shane called, and what we had talked about calling right there, that we were going to get the ball, end it. AJ was going to get the first, and we were going to take a knee and end the game right there. Our defense had been on the field a long time in the second half, and I thought that that was the right decision, and a good job by the players to execute that decision, and a good job by the players to execute throughout the game.
Thank you.
John and then EJ Smith.
Hey, Nick. Kind of an interesting week coming up. Doug Peterson returning to Lincoln Financial Field. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that. And if Frank's going to answer either text message first this week.
Well, Frank better answer my text message first, since they're in the division together. And I can't tell Frank who to root for or who he needs to like better out of Doug and I. I think he's got a good relationship with both of us, but I know Frank's the ultimate competitor, and I imagine he'll be rooting for the AFC South team to lose. So we got good mojo on that. As far as Doug, I got a ton of respect for him. I don't know him personally. I've talked to him a couple times, but I only know him through what obviously the people in this building, and then through Frank, and I've heard nothing but phenomenal things, and I think he's a great football coach. Obviously, he brought this city a world championship, and so much respect for him. I know that I'm pretty far into my Jacksonville preparation right now, and you can just tell that they're well coached, and it doesn't surprise me at all, because I know how good of a coach Coach Peterson is. So we'll have to. We're gonna be working like crazy to put our guys in good position, and I know he will be doing the same there. And not only do I have a lot of respect for Coach Peterson as a football coach, I know a lot of the guys over there on that staff as well. A handful of those guys on the staff as well that I think are really phenomenal coaches, with Jim Bob, with Mike McCoy, with Press. So there's some guys I know they got some good coaches over there, and I think their defense is doing a really nice job as well. And I've heard nothing but good things about the defensive coordinator over there too.
We have time for two more, so we'll go E.J. Smith and then Rube.
Hey, Nick. How's it going? Any of the guys who maybe missed time yesterday, particularly Landon, who didn't finish the game, did anybody suffer anything like that's significant here?
We expect them to be good going into this week. I mean, we'll let you guys know as we continue on here, but nothing structurally that is highly concerning to us about these guys. But we'll keep our eye on them and see what the plan is for Wednesday at practice, and we'll see how that goes.
Last one here from Rube.
Hey, Nick, I wanted to ask you about what you've seen from Fletch and BG, your two oldest guys on defense. And I guess two-part question, how much, they're both playing fewer snaps than they've ever played before, and their production has been terrific. How much does limiting their snaps and the depth you have up front help them?
I think you said it right there, right? Is that when it's hard to limit their snaps when you don't feel comfortable with the guys behind them, right? But knowing that that's still good for them, that their snaps are limited a little bit. But it's hard when you don't have faith in those guys and they're not playing a good level. But we obviously have major faith in the guys that are backing up Fletch and BG, that they're going to do a nice job and come in and give great reps when they're out. And so to be able to have that depth at the defensive line, I can't say enough for how Howie has built this team on the offensive and defensive line. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable that the depth that we have, the amount of good players that we have there, and so of course it keeps them fresh and it keeps the guys fresh, and you're able to pin your ears back and get after the quarterback in those past situations when you are fresh. And I just can't say enough about those two guys on the defensive side with both Fletch and BG, of everything that they bring to the table. Not just when they're on the field rushing the passer, but in the run game, and whether it's BG crushing the edge on a run game or if it's Fletch, eating up a double team and pushing the guard back into the running back on that, or also how they are in the locker room. Like, these guys they know what it takes to get to the top of the mountain. They've done it, right? They've done it. They've walked to the top of the mountain. They've had the long journey to the top of the mountain and planted that Eagles flag on top of the mountain and won a world championship. So they know what it takes to do that. And so you can see how much it means to them that they have that C on their chest, right? That they have that captain on their chest. Whether it's BG's constant energy of just how happy he is to be there every day, and he doesn't take a day for granted, and he works like crazy every single day. He worked like crazy to get back from his injury. Or whether it's Fletch, who has a guy behind him that we drafted in the first round, and he's working his butt off to help this guy develop, to help Jordan Davis develop. Like, that's special. Like, there's not a lot of teams in the league. We've heard guys say before, it's like, not my job to make sure that this guy's good. But in Fletch's mind and Jason Kelsey's mind, it is their job. And they are doing everything they can to help these guys, because they know, right, at the end of the day, you got me going now a little bit, Ruben, but they know at the end of the day, it's that what we talked about, I am because we are, right? Never be threatened by somebody else's goodness, right? Understand that when somebody in your position or your team is playing at a high level, it's going to be good for you also. That's a team. And you don't get that in a team unless you have captains like we have. And man, this team's special because of that. This team has special captains and special leadership. And man, I'm really happy about that, because that's hard to find.
Can you expound on that a little bit, please?